did in scrims, obviously, that's going to be the focus that DSG has.
For sure. And to go back on the Massu point, he did an interview with Srtty after the loss, which was also impressively done in Arabic.
Yes.
Which
that's sick.
I read the subtitles of this interview.
Yeah.
I did not. I could not do that. But he was saying how, even though they're playing natives, he was saying that there's some even crazier things going on in draft.
Oh my
So I do wonder how much FlyQuest has been cooking on these drafts behind the stage. But then at the same time, like, that just creates even stranger situations in game. And then on stage, they were making those mistakes. So I actually feel like there's a small element of, with Riot announcing that next patch they're going to be buffing AD carries a little bit. I do wonder these teams that are like not amazing at it, if they just go back to AD carries now, knowing that it's going to get weaker, stronger later.
Well, I mean, we've already seen LPL and LCK teams just be like, we're playing traditional AD carries for the most part. I do want to get into this draft just because we see them already picking the Camille support. There was the Ziggs hovered, so I am curious to see if they're just like, you know what, it was an execution thing. This still is really strong. Ziggs, again, my opinion is that he's just good. Like, he's way better than the other mages being played in bot lane. By design, I think there's a reason why bot laners were already being asked to play Ziggs or practice Ziggs, because he can be so good. He plays a lot like an AD carry. So I'm not surprised to see the Camille Ziggs coming out for FlyQuest, and we'll see if they're going to be able to give another go.
And from DSG side, it's funny because Vi is heavy prioritized around the globe. If you're going against FlyQuest specifically, you're going to have to ban nexus to do that. It's the Vi and the Xin Zhao that makes it so difficult to play into, so it makes a lot of sense. One thing I want to make a note of, Kaisa's been seeing a lot of play in the LPL specifically and gets a lot of mage matchups, so you can get heavy 2v2 priority. These fights will be super in your favor, and guess who is very comfortable on Kaisa? It's Sajed. It's one of his most comfortable picks. In his debut split, he heavily played it, so if we're going straight back to comfort, I think DSG is doing the right thing.
And another Shyvana pick for Gryffinn. It's something he was probably the most prolific Shyvana player in the LCS spring split. Can't go with the Shen into the vibe because it got picked away as a support for DSG. So I am also a big fan of the Kaisa Shen combo, but looking forward to seeing Gryffinn Shyvana once again.
And even just adding the Shen into the mix is going to make things very frustrating, I think, for FlyQuest that actively looks for plays topside, just in general around the map. Just the Shen is always going to be a looming threat. So if you want to make a play topside, just know that Shen ulti, make that timer known. Because I think FlyQuest was moving way too fast in the first series that they played this split. So it's going to be something that's going to be a blocker to a lot of FlyQuest playmaking.
Yeah, I actually really like the Kaisa Shen rotation from Disguised because of the comfort you already pointed out, Raz, but in addition, just what Shen is able to do. We see Silas removed by FlyQuest, and then the Renekton moved by DSG, which is kind of interesting.
I wonder if DSG is aiming to go for an Ambessa pick, because it works well with the composition that they have. Jace is already banned, which is one of Srtty's best picks, and I mean, you definitely want to find an angle to dive onto Ziggs when you already have a dive comp with Vi, Kaisa, Shen. Like, it works really well here. So surprised that's not banned out by FlyQuest.
Yeah, they can still save a counter pick for top lane, which they can push Srtty into that situation where he has to blind pick. Probably just pick Quads champion here. Although, if you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to counterpick an AD top, you're a little bit less flexible in your ability to counterpick.
True.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go.
This combo is
tried and true, baby.
She made it through the second round bans. Also, just honestly a quad classic. This is one of his best champions, something he's super known for playing. On the other side, we have the Galio locked in. So again, another just like Galio, Ambessa, which I expect to see locked in here for Srtty. Just complete dive with honestly a ton of follow-up and protection with the Shen, with the Galio.
Do we have a FlyQuest Volibear in the room? I'm saying that is a really good matchup.
Or just a Gnar. Gnar's basic, it's unbanned. It's a skill matchup against the Ambessa. It's something that Gakgos was on the losing side of last week, Dokla versus Gakgos.
True. And honestly, no matter what, I just love the composition from FlyQuest. The combo of Shyvana Orianna is just disgusting. The fear that Shyvana has on top of the Ori ball. Aatrox is not bad here. Just saw that last series.
Yep.
Did a lot of good for Denethor in some of those fights. But yeah, there it is. That's going to be an Aatrox lock-in. Honestly, just a lot of just bruisers from the FlyQuest side that I think it will be a little bit difficult to play into some of the playmaking that DSG has. Who do you guys have for this draft?
I mean, I like the DSG side because Sajed is on comfort, and I didn't like Massu's Ziggs. It doesn't go too far beyond that, but that I also see the Galio can be pretty good at stuffing hard engages as well if he can get through the laning phase against Quads Orianna, because I think that's a difficult lane matchups across the board for DSG, but if they get through the early game, I think their team composition scales pretty well.
This Aatrox versus 4 melees is, I think it's a really good Aatrox pick.
Could be really good.
Yeah, but I'm leaning towards DSG side. Completely agree. Great comfort. Also, really solid direction, I think, that the team has in terms of like playing around Kaisa and Ambessa dive. So Ziggs is going to have a really tough time.
Yeah, for me, I'm actually really watching these supports as well. I'm really curious to see Cryogen piloting the Camille and see what his roam timers are compared to DSG.
And I want to see how angry FlyQuest is after getting swept by Armeo. They're going to want to take out all that anger onto DSG. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much. Going to be getting this game started here pretty quickly. The first game between DSG and FlyQuest, both teams coming off of a winless week 1, didn't even get a game, which was definitely surprising, especially for FlyQuest, going up against Lion, who was without Inspired. They were the favorites coming in. Ended our last split pretty hot and are coming in with a lot higher expectations.
So you're telling me both these teams are hungry, very hungry in summer. Yeah, I mean, FlyQuest.
Some intermittent fasting wins.
FlyQuest, they're definitely unhappy that they didn't start out with a win. But I would also say for DSG, especially that game, they were up 6,000 gold over Shopify, and then they ended up losing too. Those types of ones, when you end up losing those, also just make you really, really, frustrated and looking towards the next series to actually get the wins here. I think for both teams, they're very hungry for these wins and very determined. So I'm excited for this matchup. Always excited for this matchup too, because we do have some like good close relationships between the players that we've went over the last couple times when they were playing. Of course, Sajed and Massu both previously playing under FlyQuest at the same time when Sajed was on Academy team under Massu, and we interviewed him last time, and Massu was like, he's nice about it because Masu's always nice, but he was like, yeah, Sajed's lane phase, it's not the best. We're not worried about it at all. And then he ended up like smashing him in lane also. But, this time around with the entire comp for DSG being like as hard dive as you can possibly go, and Sajed being on his Kaisa, some of DSG's best games when they first even joined the LCS were Sajed Kaisa. This was the champion that we were popping off for him about because of how well DSG looked when they could get hard dive comps and they could get him on this champion with any amount of, like, even parity in gold. But in those games, I remember him having gold leads as well. So this is definitely a possibility for the understudy to take it back and try and get a dub over Massu, over the guy that was in the starting spot over him. So I want to see if DSG can come out really, really aggressively in game number 1.
Yeah, it should be fun to see. I mean, you talked about the big lead that DSG had against Shopify as well, and I think Srtty on his Ambessa was a pretty big part of that. I feel like he's always performed well on that champion. And when you're talking about bot lane matchups, maybe DSG are feeling a little bit more confident after watching Massu play Ziggs last week against Berserker, because he was kind of struggling on that Ziggs. That was an uncharacteristically very bad game from Massu, I felt like, where he really was getting taken advantage of by Berserker in those 1v1s. Really, even across the Sylas game, he was getting solo killed in both games, but the Ziggs one in particular, he really did struggle on. So it will be interesting to see how they play this out. And there is so much dive. I mean, and it's all pretty much point and click, right? Vi ults on your head, the follow-up from Stand United into Taunt, into Public Execution, into Galio, all, like, everything is there.
I literally think this is the hardest dive that you can draft like meta League of Legends right now.
Without trolling.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like you can kind of change some things, like if you had support Camille instead of support Shen, but those are very similar anyway. Support Shen is also very good for diving.
Yep.
Obviously, a very good dive buddy, and the dodge zone is also a very, very useful tool. So honestly, yeah, I feel like this is the hardest dive that you can really draft. Every single role is looking for it. So it truly does put it to the test. Like, can you avoid some of the pitfalls for super hard dive comps? Like if Orianna or Ziggs has Zhonya's and you overcommit into a bunch of AoE, like, you know, the Aatrox, the Ziggs, and the Orianna,
and
Shyvana, like they all have very good AoE. So you just have to be a little bit cognizant of that. But they definitely can go very aggressive with it when they have access to their ultimates on the side of DSG.
And it feels like your engages have to be really on point. I think that DSG is likely going to have to, you know, get a lead early-ish on, you know, 1-2 items. It feels like a pretty important part of the game, because I feel like with these mages, when you get to 3 items plus, they're probably both going to have a Zhonya's on both the Orianna as well as the Ziggs. And that just makes it so much harder, because at that point, you can't rely on just cease and desist Vi to get you an engage. That's going to get Zhonya's. You're going to need to have some sort of Q flash. You're going to need to have a taunt flash, something that they can't react to start it off, which gets so much harder. And then all of the AoE, trying to fight past an Aatrox and a Shyvana who are AoEing you against 4 melee, so they have easy target access. That is also really hard and dangerous. So I think they have a lot of very good tools, but FlyQuest, I think, is really going to be confident if the game goes late, if it goes slow. So they're going to be trying to slow down the pace.
Yeah, definitely agree. And they're also going to be, the one thing I would be worried about for FlyQuest a little bit more is if at the point where they lose their outer towers, is it hard for them to play side lanes? Orianna, one of the biggest weaknesses of this champion, even though it's so strong and off the first pick in the meta, is going to be in side lanes. If you have to play side lanes versus Vi, Galio, Shen, Ambessa, all these things, then every minion wave is like an objective for your team to try and figure out a way for you to be able to safely push or safely catch. But that is pretty far in the future when the outer towers, you know, fall. We have quite a long time to determine which team's going to get a nice early lead there, and Raz will be watching closely because it's his match of the week.
He'll be watching closely, and we'll be watching closely so we can judge him on his selection here.
And his clucking. He was doing some clucking at the beginning of the analyst deck.
We need a Raz theme song for Match of the Week.
Okay, yeah,
Clucked entirely.
Yeah, clucked by Raz himself.
Clucked by Raz himself.
Get Raz in the recording studio now.
Yeah, exactly. We could drop a beat for him.
Yeah.
He can do the clucking. And we'll see how that goes. There's some trading here early on. Tonk going to be traded in onto Massu, but some nice trading back onto Lyonz. Thanks to the hookshot coming in there from Cryogen. But we touched on it a little bit. Expectations higher this split for FlyQuest. I talked to ThinkGuard. You know, he was saying he's expecting them to show a higher level of play, and he straight up told me we are making Worlds. You know, I asked him, hey, we had talked at the start of the year. He told me by the end of the year they were going to make Worlds, and I said, hey, is this something you're comfortable with me saying on broadcast? Will you give me a quote? He gave me the quote, and then he straight up typed, we're making Worlds. And so that is the pressure that they are putting on themselves, right? The expectations are now no longer, yeah, we're really trying to develop and get better. It's no, we're going to be top 3. We're going to go to Worlds.
Yeah, even the players, like Gryffinn was saying the exact same thing. You know, at the beginning, he was like, yeah, it's nice playing because we don't have super high expectations at the beginning. But even he was like, yeah, you know, by the time it rolls around, we're going to be top 3. We're going to be making Worlds. So now the pressure really does ramp up, as you're saying. And also, as well, just because they have found some level of success, right? The quick improvement of this team and the level of success that they have already shown as they go for some heavy trading in bot lane.
Yeah, Cryogen making really nice use of that hail of blades, being able to get in a lot of those autos, gets the ignite down. Lyonz is going to be sent back to base, as is Sajed, so things looking pretty good for them across the board, really, here in the lanes thus far. Quad obviously getting Callme low. Expected to have the advantage in that 1v1 here early on, and Sajed is playing teleport, so that is worth mentioning. Knowing that it is going to be a bit of a sustained battle, you're playing Kaisa, you're not expecting to dominate, to get push here against the Ziggs and the Camille.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to be pretty careful here on the Shen. Of course, one of the big parts about the Shen into the Camille is getting Spirit's Refuge and blocking those auto attacks. And if you're level 2 and you don't have it yet, then you really have to respect that damage output. So we'll see. Both of the supports, though, offer their roams here. Even level 2, even with the support quest still in effect, they don't care. They're like, whatever, lose a little bit of golden experience, try and affect the map. One mid lane and one top lane, simultaneous ganks.
Yeah, looking, not going to spend that flash to go for a taunt flash here, and not going to be able to find much of anything on quad. Lyonz does get level 3, though, as Cryogen looking just to set up a recall and go down towards bot. We can see KryRa maybe looking for something down on that bot side after his Krugs, and both these bot laners didn't get any potions because they didn't have ideal buys, so poke is going to matter a lot more down there, too.
And I like the idea from both supports. You can tell their thought process. You know, on the side of FlyQuest, they're like, hey, we need Aatrox to be big so that we can have this, God of War, this AoE in our team fights. So we're going to have Camille, Cryogen reset and go out to top lane to try and get their advantage there. And on the other side, as we get the flash on bottom, for DSG, Lyonz is like, hey, we got to get this Orianna flash down. This is the champion we can punish the most. And so he wanted to go mid and try and make that happen, but they're unable to get either of those goals accomplished from the supports, even though it does make sense, the ideas that they had in mind, as the ward on top saw them there, and then the attempt mid as well, not enough pressure.
Yeah, nice attempt there on that flash satchel that Massu was looking for. Cryogen got back down towards bot faster than Lyonz. He had the flash, so he could have had that follow-up of a hookshot flash, but of course it was responded to there by Sajed, so it is flashed down for both of these AD carries. Massu, because he had the push, also got to have the luxury of holding on to his teleport, which he's going to use now after finishing up that lost chapter, so he's going to be in a really comfortable spot at this point.
Yeah, lost chapter done, great.
Full build.
The job is done for the lane phase. Now it's just infinite bombs as they are going to start up this dragon. They do want to keep stacking here, and Massu is trying to fend them off in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Callme could get jumped on here. The hookshot actually interrupting him on his little Justice Punch forward.
Yeah, smart from Cryogen there. He stays on the wall and waits for the Justice Punch flash.
Flash taunt. They're going to try to follow it up here. Quad going to flash away, though, from KryRa. Callme doesn't have the damage to finish him off, and Callme's going to get taken down for first blood. Gryffinn makes him pay. The Q flash was good from KryRa, but they just didn't have enough damage to finish off Quad.
Yeah, Callme also committing there at the end, too. I don't think, maybe he misjudged his own damage. I don't think there's a world where he's going to have enough, even though you really want to be able to finish off the Orianna. Overcommitting there does go down to 1,000 gold lead right off the bat for FlyQuest with the first blood into, guess what? Griffin's hands, the snowball Shyvana, able to get the last hit. So here's another look at it, and we're gonna see Cryogen wait, this is right after it. So they go for the flash play, then they go for the interrupt here, and it was a really nice move to try and block the follow-up engage. Then the full commitment here as Galio tries to go for the kill, but...
Yeah, and I mean, something I didn't catch live was Callme was flashing over the shockwave. So he both avoided the shockwave with his flash and tried to use that aggressively as Quad was throwing down that shockwave. So tried to go in, tried to be able to make that play happen, couldn't quite do it. At the very least, they pulled Gryffinn off the dragon. So Gryffinn does get the kill, but no one has taken the dragon just yet.
Yeah, calm it down right afterwards. And we'll see about the next move towards top lane. Again, they really want to be able to get this Aatrox into a good spot. And with Cryogen constantly repeat visits up here, they're going to accomplish that. Flash advantage for Gakgos. See what they're able to do with it.
Yeah, got the ult off of Srtty there as well. Tried to use the public execution to buffer some of the CC that he was expecting to be coming in. And Gakgos did not spend his ult, did not spend his flash, so now Srtty's in a bit of a difficult spot with the wave pushing away from him. Cryogen has waited this whole time. Hookshot flash, ult is popped there by Gakgos, gets one knockup, but Srtty's got a lot of dashes, but not quite enough as the Q3 flash comes down from Gakgos, grabbing him a kill.
I say... the only, positive thing about these supports in their permanent roams is that people have started to hate junglers less. Now, though, Gryffinn under attack.
Gryffinn going to be able to go unstoppable there, but here comes the cease and desist to follow it up. Looks like he has got nowhere to go. The double taunt landing onto Quad. They don't have the damage to finish him off, but they do get a kill back onto Gryffinn and get his ult down.
Yeah, they take him down. This is a couple of combinations of the dive ults we were talking about, but it is actually funny now. Top laners used to hate junglers the most regardless. And now I'm seeing a shift. They actually hate supports even more than they hate junglers.
You know what, buddy? We got a lot of hate to go around.
Yeah, true.
Don't worry.
But, I mean, Cryogen, he's stuck to the plan, right? You know, he stays up there, camp top, never leave, and they eventually got it to connect.
Yep.
It's big for DSG, you know, to get the kind of a counter on the other side and get the kill here off onto Gryffinn and kind of get Gryffinn off the map at least for a little bit. Anytime you get Shyvana off the map is nice because she wants to keep up constant farm.
Yeah, and I will say those kind of deaths are the most frustrating ones for me as a top laner, where you see them coming in, you have them warded out, you avoid the gank, then you basically are playing super respectful for a wave or sometimes even more, and he just waits the whole time. Like, you can't just sit there and never farm and never walk up. You've got to reset the wave. At some point, you have to expose yourself.
Yeah, the wave was pushing away from him, and I saw it was that one last melee minion. And, you know, Cryogen's recalling in the brush, and he's like, I bet he's going to go try and queue this one last melee minion and, like, try and eat a little bit, try and get a minion as it's pushing away. And he waited.
Slapped his hand away from the cookie jar.
Yeah. He waited just long enough. So we'll check back in, though, because FlyQuest, wait a second.
Public execution used there on a Gakgos, who is getting quite low, but no more damage there to follow it up from Srtty. Didn't force out the World Ender. You know, he is going to have the flash advantage when it comes back up. There will be that brief window as Gakgos did spend his flash to finish off Srtty on that kill. So maybe Srtty can get something there, but feels like mostly just using the ult for pressure, trying to reset the wave, as it's been kind of held in this awkward spot for a long time. We can see KryRa's going up there, though, so maybe going to try to look for something.
Yeah, let's see, because Dragon is still available, so worrying about trying to make the cross map. Lyonz is under attack. The satchel is good.
Yeah, really good satchel. The ulti comes out from Shyvana. Lyonz flashes, but Gryffinn flash follows. They're going to be able to get the kill. And KryRa now, seeing that, interrupts the recall here from Gakgos, but he's going to pop the World Ender and just try to fight his way through KryRa. Lands a good knockup, and that is going to be enough to push KryRa back. Well played there by Gakgos to survive on the other side. Srtty trying to get in here. We'll see if he actually finds him. He will, but now Cryogen has arrived, and the recall was finished from Vi. So Srtty tries to be the hero here, stopping the recall, trying to get more from that play. Ends up dying as Massu and Cryogen show up. Oh. They lose out on both sides.
Oh, it is all falling apart for DSG. Srtty had tried to call jungle and like, all right, my turn for some pressure now. Our turn to play strong on the top side of the map. This carry versus carry top lane matchup. It's our time to get some gold. You know, they just made a bot side play, but the bot lane has time to get there. It is the teleport from Massu along with Cryogen's early roam, and FlyQuest getting back to the other side while simultaneously taking the dragon is just such a large early game lead for them that the prophesized later, like mid-game state, we are theorizing maybe when like outer towers are down, if DSG can use this super hard dive to start picking people off and making it hard for FlyQuest to tend to their minion waves. Like that doesn't look like it's going to become a reality in this game with the early lead that FlyQuest have already been able to accrue.
Yeah, I mean, Shen is obviously good as both kind of like aggressive pairing, you know, with the Stand United, but also people talk about Shen as a really good denial champion. But Cryogen has just gotten so much more done, right? Only does have the 3 assists, but has been constantly pressuring, has been everywhere across the map, and has really made Srtty's life a bit of a nightmare up here on that top side. But now they're going to try to set up a dive here onto Quad. They're going in. The hero's entrance to follow it up. Quad is just getting CC'd 100 to 0, but KryRa had no way out. Spent the Vault Breaker, didn't want to use the flash, and now in comes Gryffinn. Callme going to have to try to back it up, but Lyonz arrives. Taunt's going to go wide. Sajed pushing in the wave. We'll see if they want to set up the redive, but they're not confident they can burst them down on a tower.
And even Gryffinn re-entering this topside, that used more time of 3 people of DSG. And that time equals damage on towers for Massu and pressure on the other side of the map for FlyQuest. So while DSG do get a kill, go down the checklist. They gave a kill back. The Vi died under tower. They also used half of their arsenal of ultimates with Vi ult, Galio ult being invested on this top side to go for the dive in the first place and just get a 1-for-1. And then they weren't even able to die a minion wave because Gryffinn was able to fight his way back in there, and they also lost some mid lane at the exact same time. So while it is a DSG play that does get a kill, they went negative in overall gold across the map.
Yeah, they did, and this lead is very, very big right now. 2.3K, was up to 2.6K, but I think the Colt just cashed out there for Sajed. So at least he's got an item done, but, you know, I talked about it in the draft. You know, when you get to that point where it's, you know, 3-4 items, whenever they're going to be picking up the Zonias, it just gets so much harder to actually find these plays onto Quad and Massu. And all the plays, for the most part, have been in the favor of FlyQuest thus far. They haven't really been able to put on any pressure. FlyQuest also took the early Dragon, so there's not really any pressure of soul stacking or anything like that for DSG. And they are definitely on the back foot and going to be having to find some really good engages if they want to fight their way back into this game.
Yeah, and when they do find the engage to pull the trigger, they're going to need to not go 1-for-1 in those scenarios where they're investing a lot, because Gryffinn is going to be, you know, scaling up here on this Shyvana. When you have an Orianna on your team, not only does it provide some nice CC to follow up with your Shyvana ultimate, but the shield and speed boost are also very useful in enabling these melee carries, whether it's the Shyvana or the Aatrox.
Oh, Massu gonna get ulted on, but he's flashing back onto the tower. The killer instinct comes in. They're trying to take him Massu, and they do take him out. KryRa gets a stand united, but it's gonna be traded back regardless. Cryogen locking him under the tower, able to get one there. So they do get a kill. It is the 1-for-1, but unfortunately Sajed does not walk away with that kill gold.
Yeah, he didn't get the gold, and again, yeah, it's 1-for-1 under the tower as the Vi goes down. At least they also got the flash out of Ziggs, so maybe they can try some repeat plays here. And they, at least this time around, didn't have to give us as much on the rest of the map. So the kill gold is good, but still really working from behind here, DSG, and they're not able to get a lot of pressure on those outer towers either. So it's constantly FlyQuest kind of gaining territory.
And while this game is still revving up, better fill up your tanks because the LCS Championship is at Gas South Arena in the greater Atlanta area from October 3rd to 4th. Tickets are available now, so go grab them, and Callme and I'll see you there.
See you there. Let's go. I'm excited for that one. Excited for this one right now, though, because Cryogen just dodges out the taunt from Lion.
Yeah, nicely dodged out. Lyonz loses half his health, but KryRa still looking to start off the fight, and there's the public execution coming in, and the shutdown actually goes to the Kaisa. Gryffinn and Quad are still in the area. It looks like they still may want to fight. Ziggs trying to get over here on the side, but has no flash, remember. So this is a bit of a difficult approach. You can see Lyonz trying to wrap around behind him.
Yeah, Galio is kind of hovering up halfway here now too, so they might try and make a Galio play. He yoinks it.
Gryffinn just walks in and steals it, and then uses the Dragon's Descent to just get out to safety. Didn't actually grab it, but then the taunt comes in onto Massu. Sajed flashes forward, but I don't know what that flash was. He got nothing at all. Gryffinn, though, going to be cut off in the jungle here, taken down as KryRa gets another kill. Quad picks up the eye. KryRa is running. Sajed is going to fall to Cryogen here. Quad is slowly taking down KryRa as DSG are just losing people everywhere. They try to go for the Herald. They lose that. They try to go for the dive. They lose out multiple kills there as well.
And they're not even done losing stuff. Quad and Gakgos are going for Srtty.
Srtty in a lot of trouble here. It's going to be tanked up there by Gakgos. Srtty flashes away. Callme arrives with the hero's entrance. Will keep him safe. Going to be able to spot Cryogen, who is just trying to be annoying in the area. You can see pings over onto the Dragon as FlyQuest will just back this one up.
Whew, crazy sequence that we had there with the yoink from Gryffinn, and then the escape from Massu was actually clutch with his satchel as well. From the Flash Galio play, but let's take another look at it as they start it, and then the complete deletion of the support Camille is a little bit of catharsis for DSG, and Srtty finally, he gets a little bit of revenge. But then Gryffinn is looking at this the entire time, and he's coming in looking for the yoink here on the eyeball, does get the Q smite, and is able to ult out to the top side, but then he wraps around. And he goes to this other side of the fight where they go off of Massu, and even with the flash play from Galio, and Sajed committing his flash there, which both got nullified for Masu's satchel charge. Now he's, okay, now he's dead.
And there we go. If you don't succeed, try again. They go back, they get the kill, and Gryffinn trying to burst down the Dragon will be able to secure it, so second Dragon goes their way. Massu does fall again. Quad, though, has the Seekers already. Cryogen going to go in. The Shockwave is there to follow it up. And that is an easy kill, but now KryRa arrives. Callme is here too. Cryogen slated to fall. The two-man taunt across both these members from FlyQuest, and in comes Sajed. Quad just gets deleted, can't even pop the Seekers. It's a double there for the Galio, and DSG make FlyQuest pay.
They get something off the back of it too, continuing to force plays. Yeah, Gakgos is split pushing on the top side of the map, so he's gonna get most of that tower. But here's a look at the start of how they actually deleted Massu this time. Nice ulti in from Srtty there on the Ambessa, and then they want to snowball this. FlyQuest, though, they take the opportunity to try and burst down the support. They have full vision with that cone. So they pop the plant and they finish off the support Shen here. They do sacrifice more members to do so, though, because of Callme's Galio being in range. And maybe should have called off the play at just abandoned support for support kill. But they do get chased down, and the extra kills here for DSG, maybe that will be the start of their comeback. That is some much needed money here for DSG. And since Callme did have a Dark Seal as well, the Galio getting extra benefit of AP off of this, up to 7 stacks, despite the early kind of rough start here for DSG. They're very capable of pulling off explosive team fights with this extremely hard dive composition.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, Sajed was down over 1,000 gold earlier in the game. He's now up a little bit of gold here. Obviously, the problems are Cryogen massively ahead and Gakgos 1.4k up, already on 2 items, plus the Merc treads here. And Aatrox is going to be difficult for them compositionally. This is 4 melee champions trying to fight through a very strong Aatrox. Quad did have the Seekers, maybe made the judgment that he was just going to die anyway, so held on to it.
This tower is fake defense.
Yeah, Srtty knows it. He's just going to run on out as all that crystalline overgrowth. 1 auto is going to take it down. Srtty, though, staying safe for now.
Okay, so just a collection. Are they going to trap them on the outside, though? Teleport being used. Orianna has to run for her life.
Yeah, Quad is going to try to make a run for it. There comes the public execution. Flash is forced. Gryffinn in the area. Are they going to use the stasis? Not just now. In comes the hero's entrance. There is that stasis. Teleport coming in as well. The taunt onto Quad. He's going to get burst down, but Gakgos arrives. So does Massu. The AoE damage big, and DSG trying to cut it out, trying to deny the resets here from Gakgos, but Gakgos desperately wants one, trying to finish them off. He's going to get the resets, and you hear that sound. You know the fight might be over, but Sajed is fighting as hard as he can, trying to push him back. It's Gryffinn with a triple, though, as they barely got the reset for Gakgos, and that was all they needed.
The double juggernaut champions here, again, grouping up on this Orianna. So Quad buys a lot of time. He flashes into a deeper position, the full commitment with the Galio ult, with the Shen ult. He buys his time, and then in the large grouping here, 4 members, bomb comes through from Massu to soften them up, and they try and get the chase down. Gakgos flashing there to try and keep them in, does hit the W, and then Massu's damage is enough to start to get some of these resets. Gryffinn there with the triple kill. He was able to finish off the Shen and tear them up.
They're just trying to rush the Baron here. Teleports are coming in, so they're clearly aware of this right now. Lyonz has spotted it. FlyQuest pulled back. They're going to try to turn onto KryRa. He's just hit by the Hextech ultimatum. He's ignited. He's turning, though, onto Cryogen, who tries to flash out, but he flashes right into the waiting arms of the Kaisa. And now Callme going through the Hex gates here. DSG want to try to get more, but FlyQuest should be able to disengage.
FlyQuest lost their coordination here, really scrambling off of this fight. They called them to peel off of Baron and look for the pick onto enemy jungle. But the Camille is so far ahead.
Quad in trouble. Here comes the cease and desist. Sajed there trying to follow it up, but doesn't have the ulti. And KryRa finds out in the hurry that Sajed cannot follow up. No killer instinct. Gakgos now popping the World Ender, chasing down Lyonz. He's going to be dead as well. He's got no energy. Even if he had the Shadow Dash, he couldn't use it. FlyQuest make a mistake, but then make up for it with a couple kills here, as Quad didn't even need the Zhonya's.
I mean, it's hype, right? We've got divers on multiple sides, and both sides, the dive goes very far without the follow-up, and in the end, with the second mistake here, with the enemy jungle going down, there's no way that DSG can steal the Baron, but can they? Nope.
Callme flashing, decides to try to go back in. I don't know if he has a way out. Stand United comes through. He procs the Storm Raider Surge, is creating a little bit of space here. Srtty still on the side, trying to find an angle. There comes that public execution. The taunt flashes in on the Massu, but they don't have the damage to finish him. Sajed, though, doing a lot here in this fight. Needs to try to get into the back line. Doesn't have the killer instinct available because he hadn't hit any plasma until just then. He's not going to be able to jump in onto Gryffinn. So at the end of the day, they do get that 1 kill. They'll rush over and try to grab the dragon for a bounty there. Maybe try to get a double bounty with a mid lane tower. That could be a nice little slingshot of gold.
It's really going to be very nice for them. Chop this gold lead down significantly with these quick back-to-back bounties and with getting the kill onto Quad. Very significant. He was low on mana after the Baron take here for FlyQuest, so they make the call. As they barely get Callme out, he is able to get the Shen ult and runs for his life. But here comes the rest of it, and it is the flank from Srtty that is going to open up the timing window. Yeah, Quad does have his Zhonya's, but he's still right in the middle, and they can Galio for the re-entry here, setting up Sajed to get another kill. This Kaisa that we highlighted that was so big for DSG in getting some of their early wins when they first joined the LCS, gets a little bit more money, and he is the only one with the tiniest of gold leads on the side of DSG, kind of trying to lead their comeback, trying to lead their hopes here of winning these fights.
And Massu has elected to go for that Proto Belt instead. So going for the Rocket Belt, doesn't decide to go for the Zhonya's third, maybe going to get that later on. Quad has obviously had that for quite some time. And normally, I'm a pretty big hater of Gluttonous Greaves. I just think in Pro, you don't get enough stacks. But Sajed has 7 stacks already. So this is actually paying off for him quite a bit because it has been quite a bloody game. He's been involved in a lot. And when you do get that fully stacked, it is quite impactful here for him. And he is on 3 items, is getting very, very strong. But as you said, he's the only one with the gold lead. And he's going to have to play really well as they're looking for a pick now onto Gakgos. Pops the World Ender, but he is getting CC'd up, and he is getting locked down, knocked down. That's 1K in Srtty's pockets.
This is huge for DSG, fighting back again. Now they've got more room to work with on the map. They get the pick, and you can often turn that into some turret plate money as well. Top side looks vulnerable. They can just rotate over, steal some jungle while in the process. Gryffinn does want to try and at least defend his red, though. And they're just going to get the push out afterwards. But moments ago, this was a 5,000 gold lead for FlyQuest and quickly chopped down here by DSG. Despite the Baron pickup you see in the top right corner of your screen, it's negative 1,800.
And that is that swing that you're talking about right there in this tower. A lot of crystalline overgrowth, but no way for Callme to just walk up and take it. Cryogen may get spotted on the side here as KryRa trying to defend Callme, allowing him to push this in. You can see Lyonz moving up there as well. I don't know how you feel about this kind of... I feel like Locket is getting overlooked sometimes in exchange for, you know, Protoplasm. Obviously, it is very good on Shen. It helps with your own survivability, but I feel like when you're playing against Ziggs, Orianna, surely Locket has to just be the correct choice.
Locket does sound good. Me speaking from the teammate of the support,
yeah,
I would like it. Of course, the individual, you know, survivability of Protoplasm is crazy for the Shen individually, but especially at this point, you know, it's definitely about the team. It's about the team fights for sure. Since the early success as far as the support battle and the influence on map was heavily won by the Camille anyway. Smite does go down in order to secure this Scuttle Crab Vision. And Gryffinn is able to secure that before they escape with their lives. You have to be very, very wary of this dive from DSG, getting that close to the Vi. They can easily pull the trigger. Of course, teleports are all ready for all members of FlyQuest. So the Avengers could assemble in order to defend whoever does get picked.
They absolutely could. Massu has another large rod. Obviously, that could just be a death cap if he wants to go full aggressive, or he could work in towards that Zhonya's. But a lot of big tools here available right now for DSG. We have Seekers on Sajed, on Callme, GA, on KryRa, so they have a lot of those extra lives, those immunities up and available. There is still just that one Zhonya's for Quad. As Gryffinn going in for the Death Stance Shojin, very, very tanky on this champion. And generally just more effective to build tanky items instead of the GA, but they're going to be looking here for Callme. Callme's going to try to turn around with the teleport. The taunt coming through. There's the Dragon's Descent as Quad gets put low. In comes Srtty. He gets locked up, but in comes the hero's entrance. He's just deleted in a hurry, and the two-man shockwave there as Callme punches back forward, lands a taunt, but no one can follow up. Gakgos gets the reset. Sajed has got to run. Cryogen flashing forward. Sajed flashes out. Lyonz goes back in, but there's no one there with them. It's going to be another kill going the way of FlyQuest as KryRa going to be having to be careful here. At the very least, there's no major objective for them to grab, but they're marching on the base.
FlyQuest take the initiative. They decide we're going to make the pick ourselves. They do it in the top lane, and that might be enough to get inside the base. Could they look for a hard push here? 17 seconds on Srtty, 20 seconds on Callme.
They are going to be able to grab the inhib. KryRa trying to position to see if there's an angle to
They're already
punish here.
pinging for a delayed play. They just want to keep this play extended. Don't let them recall. The pings on the revivals here.
Yeah, they are spotting them again. Callme's going to be up in 5. Srtty does not have teleport, so he would not be able to join, and I think that's going to make it pretty difficult with no stand united, with no teleport on Srtty. It would basically just be Galio TPing in with, Sajed and KryRa in the air trying to make something happen, so they decide, you know what, we can't do it, and it is back to that 5K gold lead as a result. But DSG could just try to rush down this dragon and move themselves to 2 dragons here, and tie up with FlyQuest.
Then pings are going down from FlyQuest on Baron. They're like, okay, fine, you're on Dragon. That thing's going to slow you down too. We immediately started out. Gryffinn is burning it.
Yeah, they see it. Srtty showed bot though, and Srtty has no teleport, and I think that is really big right now. FlyQuest still sticking on this. Srtty is running, but it's going to be a while before he gets there. Gakgos spotted by Lyonz on the side, but Lyonz has to use that Shadow Dash defensively. Gryffinn spent the Dragon's Ascent just to try to burst down this Baron. Cryogen looking on the side. KryRa going to jump in onto him. KryRa just trying to focus down this support, but the Baron is getting pretty low. They're going to turn on to Gryffinn. Gakgos pops the World Ender, and it's Sajed incredibly low. Burst low, but does survive. Gryffinn maybe going to fall. He's burning down. He's shut down there by Callme, but a couple kills going the other way as well. Both junglers have fallen. Cryogen has fallen. It's one-man advantage here, and Callme is getting into the backline, trying to make something happen here. Srtty focusing down Gakgos. Massu is incredibly low. There's the stand united there for Sajed on the side. Is Callme trying to finish him off, but just does not have the damage. Quad trying to do something, but he's got no mana. Goes into the Zonia's. Massu on 1 HP, surviving for now. Quad falls. The hero's entrance coming back down. Gakgos gonna get knocked up. Do they have the taunt? They do not just yet. Sajed goes into the Zonia's himself. He's surviving still again. He is not dead, but their base is dying. Massu trying to stop some of the recalls here. Gonna get spotted there on the side by Callme, and he will be running for it. Callme looking for him. Goes over the wall, and again, Massu survives with almost no HP. This game is just on a razor's edge.
DSG are fighting back. What a fight for them. They get so much money, and they're going to reset on the map quicker. They got the late kill onto Gakgos. That's still 25 seconds on the revival of the Aatrox, and that fight might have won them the Baron, and it's going to be FlyQuest taking the compensation dragon instead.
Well, this is crazy. They're going to be able to grab the dragon. This will move FlyQuest, though, to Soul Point here. Hextech Soul will be available for them. The Baron did not work out for FlyQuest last time, so we'll see if it does better for DSG. As FlyQuest 1 away from getting that super powerful soul here, but DSG really making him work for it. This fight was chaos.
This is crazy from them. Okay, so KryRa on the top side of the screen immediately beelines into the Baron. He ults onto the Shyvana while the Baron was on him, and then they try and full combo here. So Cryogen is dealt with by Sajed off on the side individually. It means they go +1 on the kills, but FlyQuest still thought even with the extra person going down on their team, they could go for the chase because Sajed is so low and out of cooldowns. The flank though from Callme is everything, behind onto Massu, who then has to spend a lot. And Shen ult was onto Sajed instead of onto Callme, so Shen comes in the safer position by the Kaisa instead of with Callme, which ended up working out great for them as they're able to chase down Quad right into the Galio ult.
Your W kill, you know? Oh, hell no. So close.
Yeah, probably talking about almost killing Massu at the very end there. Glennis Greaves really, really big for Sajed in that fight as well. Yeah. When he got really low, I mean, Gryffinn flashed on him, almost one-shot him, but didn't. And then he's hitting the blue buff the whole time, healing back up. And he's now on 10 stacks of that Glennis Greaves, and Lyonz now has the locket as well. KryRa going to get spotted here, but the team is coming in to try to back him back up. And they are going in on Cryogen. Cryogen is dead in a hurry. KryRa put a little bit low. They're going to try to kite out Gakgos World Ender. KryRa does get interrupted, but they do kite it out. Don't think Gryffinn is going to want to send it from this angle, so it is just that 1 kill. And the leads are evaporating for the most part here for FlyQuest. It is Cryogen with a massive lead, and it is Gryffinn with a very big lead, but that is Griffin's at the end of the day.
Griffin's coming back like they want to still fight this, even though the tower's already gone, and it's pushing Baron here for FlyQuest, so they're just going to catch the wave. Massu alone pushing in the mid lane, going to have to kind of rotate over towards bottom lane instead, away from the rest of the members there of DSG. And FlyQuest try and calm the game down because they're looking 3 minutes into the future, Azael. They're looking for the Dragon Soul.
Yeah, they really are. Massu decided no defense, offense is the way. Survived through that entire last fight. Does have the death cap now, and here they go. KryRa gonna make Massu regret this, as there's a teleport, there's a stand united, there is everything sent, and they do kill off Massu, but there's no big objectives up right now, so it's just gonna be trying to take towers.
And this is what we were just saying, he has to rotate down to the bottom side, but then he pushes out on bottom side, and he doesn't give respect to the move from DSG, who had just taken over the map, gone through mid lane, go all the way down to bottom lane. It's a great combo from Lyonz and KryRa to pick off the upgraded Medjai Ziggs, whose stacks drop, and now
Srtty trying to kite it back. Big shockwave. Multi-man fear comes in from the Dragon's Ascent, but they are turning on Gryffinn, and Gryffinn is not tanky enough. There's the killer instinct. Cryogen just came back, and Cryogen is dead again. DSG cracking the base open. 3 kills going their way, and they are posturing to try to end the game right now. There is no shockwave. Gakgos has ult. Massu is going to be up here in 6 seconds. Gakgos now pops the World Ender, trying to buy some time. Massu will be given that time to respond. Has the ultimate. And as a result, DSG will back it up. Massu, that wasn't even the center of his ult, just did over half the HP of Sajed. So his offensive build does a ton of damage, and even after that death, he is not going towards a Seeker, he's going towards Void Staff.
Yeah, he sold off the Medjais after he lost all the pages out of his book, and put that money towards the Void Staff. Let's get a listen in though.
10 seconds, okay?
With Galio ult we dive, I think, by the way.
No, I don't have ult now.
Okay. No, but when you have
ult,
I just ult in, I think.
Okay.
My Jane 20, maybe we can fight.
Yeah, we can dive the tier 3.
Aatrox mid.
Bueno ka Ambessa ult, you know?
They're looking. Orianna ult. They're on ult. Look,
I think we're win, guys.
Shyvana.
I'm tanking tower still. I will stop tank, okay? Stop tank.
Yeah, great call there. As soon as you got Galio ult, my GA is coming up in 20 seconds. Let's go for the dive. Let's go for the dive. And that is how you get even more out of the successful play. Really good calling here from DSG. It's another one of these games where DSG can climb back from gold deficits. And I swear, it's a lot of the times it's with Sajed on Kaisa and DSG with a dive comp.
Yeah, I agree. This guy is different on the Kaisa. He is so good. Callme as well is monster fed though. He has 10 stacks on his Darksteel. He has a death cap. Like, this is a really, really high damage Galio here. And Sajed now has that Shadow Flame complete as well. So Callme is going to be a real threat. If he actually gets to land in on them with that Hero's Entrance, get a full combo, any of these AP carries are going to be dead in a hurry here. And FlyQuest now looking at the Soul as maybe more of a bailout than just a win secure here, as they are in the area, but they don't really have any vision whatsoever. And Gryffinn gonna get jumped on, losing a lot of health quick, has to use the Dragon's Descent as the Dragons exit. The public execution there from Srtty does not connect. KryRa going forward. Standing United going to be popped. They're trying to burst down Gakgos, but Gakgos kiting them out and has the World Ender, getting KryRa low. Srtty jumping back, eating a lot of poke though from the Ziggs. I think they just need to turn on the Dragon here, as Gryffinn isn't in the area, but they were seeing if they could get something more.
Yeah, I think they've won the Dragon with their burst that they had onto Gryffinn, but would love to get a chase down kill. It's so high in tension right now. 36 minutes into this game. That is Dragon number 2 for DSG. They're gonna clean this one up as Baron will arrive shortly, and they already have vision control. They've got the setup here for the Baron bait, and the turn is insane off of this team. They don't have the Ambessa ultimate, but they do have the Vi ultimate into Galio ult combo. So with this team, even if you have a couple ultimates down, you still have 2 of the best engages off of turning away from Baron that you can possibly get in the game. And so it's going to put a lot of threat on FlyQuest here. Very dangerous for them. And so I do like that they have 3 Scryer's trinkets, but they're going to have to get Gakgos over there to use the 3rd one. Looks like they're just going to make the call, give it up. Gakgos is recalling back to base.
They are walking over now, though, and now they should surely know that they are on the Baron, but it is definitely way too late, as that got a little bit dangerous, as that was down
like
to...
a jungler there, too. I was feeling that pressure. That bomb timing was good.
I'm not going to lie. I have lost some smite battles against Ziggs. That ult late game, man, that thing is crazy. And that was a smite. I want to say I saw like 1420 was the last HP I saw, and I feel like Ziggs ult can hit for that.
I was clenching for sure. Let's take a look at it. Going down pretty quickly here, too. The timing is really good. Yeah, oh my God.
1425.
Oh my God, that timing is so perfect. And clutch from KryRa to still get it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so he gets it. Nice combo from him. He has the 1400 smite plus an auto attack here with an E, and able to burst it.
Not even close.
Not even
14-5, 14-25, got it, easy peasy. And there is the Magi's now picked up here for Callme. His last item upgraded, as they are looking really dangerous at this point in the game. Got to find a way to somehow avoid the dive and deal with Sajed, who is tearing through their frontliners at this point. Has been playing really well on the Kaisa. And Cryogen is someone who has had a pretty big gold lead throughout this whole game, but it hasn't really meant anything since the early game. He was putting on a lot of pressure early, but hasn't been able to do much in these later fights.
So Massu's Mega Inferno Bomb does 1409 magic damage.
Oh my God.
Are going to have resist, but
KryRa could be in some trouble. Is going to get pulled back in by the chains, gets satcheled out. Might actually lose the GA. He is running for his life and narrowly avoids the ultimate coming in from Massu. But Sajed, even one bouncing bomb is dealing 30-40% of his HP, so has to constantly try to heal back up off these waves. But Callme was pushing in through mid, and this tower is getting low. You can see Gryffinn is answering through bot. They'd already lost that tower earlier. Now Srtty pushing up through top. They're trying to pressure all three waves. But Massu doing a good job with the wave clear, and his poke is still incredibly threatening.
Certainly is, and the pressure is not going to relent here. Baron-empowered minions, the siege continues, so the base of FlyQuest will continue to crumble. 40 seconds left on the Baron here as well. Callme going in for a little bit of a chunk.
Yeah, Sajed having to be a bit careful. Barely avoids the Infernal Chains. As Srtty now pushing in through the top, trying to pressure Quad a little bit. Takes a couple tower shots for his trouble. And Cryogen's going in. They're going to try to turn it around onto him. Stand United coming through. Heroes entrance as well. All the counter engage arrives. Here comes the cavalry. It's a shutdown for Gryffinn. But the rest of the DSG members can't even get involved. KryRa has got to run. Callme has got to run. He's going to try to turn around with a big taunt, though. Can't quite finish off Cryogen. And they're looking at the base right now as Sajed is pushing forward. He's going to hexgate back out. They thought they had an angle to maybe finish there, but at the end of the day, Callme does not get a kill, loses his flash and his life.
Yeah, they made the call. Callme re-engage and teleport from Sajed into the Nexus towers, but the minion wave had just been cleared out, so Sajed didn't have the time upon arrival to try and pressure that end, but they made the call to look for it. Keep your eyes on the mini-map as we're watching this disengage from DSG, trying to get away. It is Gryffinn that gets the initial shutdown, and then as they're chasing, Sajed and Lyonz run to the bottom side into the jungle here, and they go, all right, fine, flash taunt for re-engage. He can't kill Cryogen, but teleport has been used by Sajed to try and pressure, and the teleport answer from a manaless Orianna also over to that side. I guess since they killed off the Galio so quickly, Sajed was never really going to have time unless he had already, a super minion on those Nexus towers, then maybe they could threaten more effectively. But still, looking for that play. They did trade teleports with the Orianna as well.
Oh, Lyonz goes in with the taunt flash, but Massu is there to answer. He flashes out the taunt across multiple members. Sajed has got to get involved here. Dragon's Descent coming forward. There's full sending onto Sajed. Srtty in the backline fighting against Quad. Sajed standing, Sajed fighting. He takes down Cryogen, but now he's in the middle of the team. He's looking with a flash forward, but it's not going to get him anything. Trying to heal back up, but he cannot survive.
And they win?
And it looks like they might just be able to. They're going to try to TP and end through bot. Double teleport coming in there as Callme is the only one up here, but that is a big wave, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything about it.
Yep, they've got Ziggs, the Demolitionist. This tower is gone. This base is done, and the game should be won by FlyQuest.
Callme trying his best to stay alive, to try to clear out the wave. Gryffinn pushing him back. Quad flashes forward, but it's Massu and Gakgos with their eyes on the tower. They knock him down. They take the Nexus, and they take game one. It was a back and forth bloodbath here. 46 kills in just about 42 minutes. But FlyQuest squeak by in game one.
Oh my goodness. Team fight after team fight. And it comes down to the very last one. Lounge, which was your favorite one of those fights?
The last one?
Yeah, there's so many to choose from. FlyQuest are never beating the allegations. They had the second highest combined kills per minute of any team in Split 3. headed into this game, still ended with above a combined kill per minute in this game.
They're probably pretty upset about this game, but I think when they're in the room, they'll realize that it could have been worse. They could have lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I thought they had thrown away their lead before that last fight rest.
It's funny